And we're live. Hello and welcome to another chat for the Higher Self Expo. I'm here to introduce you to Dr. Gillian Ross. Thanks for being with us, Dr. Gillian. Gillian.
My pleasure, in spite of all the problems with the lighting.
I've just been teaching Gillian how to use this platform for the last half an hour. It's been an interesting journey with lighting and microphones and what have you, sharing screens. It's been fun. But the Higher Self Expo this July, the 17th and the 18th of July, is the first, might be the world's first, 24-hour online expo that's completely free to the public. It'll be streaming both on Facebook, be on my Facebook page, as well as the Higher Self Expo Facebook page and YouTube. And we're traveling around the world. We're going to all different time zones. So I've been instrumental in finding some Australian speakers to speak for the 8 hours that are going to be in Australasia. We did try and include Asia, but we didn't get there this time. I didn't find any Asian speakers, maybe next time. And we're 8 hours in Europe and, of course, 8 hours in America. So Zane and Geraldine have found a few more than 8 speakers for the American leg. And Tanya and Rui have found around 8 speakers for the European leg of the journey. And I've found 8 speakers for the Australasian, and Gillian is one of them. It's such a delight to meet you, honestly.
A delight to meet you, darling, and be part of all of this. It's most exciting. Yeah.
Gillian is up northern New South Wales, up near Nimbin, fabulous part of the world, let me tell you. And we've just finished about an hour and a half conversation for Accentuate the Positive Media, which is my media show, which is coming out this week. So stay tuned for that. It was absolutely delightful to hear your story. But your conversation, your topic of conversation for the Higher Self Expo is evolutionary mysticism and the emergence of the planetary mind. Do you want to just share with people what you're going to discuss during the expo?
Right. It sounds a very grandiose title, doesn't it, for the talk, but it does sort of essence it. My lineage at the moment, you might say, is evolution.
Oh, I think we've lost her. Looks like we've lost Gillian. What's happened? Her internet might have gone off. This happens on a live broadcast. Let's see if she comes back. Where have you gone, Gillian? There she is. She's back.
I don't know what happened there, darling.
I don't know what happened either.
So what am I talking about?
What you're going to discuss at the Higher Self Expo.
My passion, if you like, at the moment to convey the message that humankind is at this very critical threshold where we require a shift in consciousness, that no amount of reduction in our carbon emissions or whatever, we might put in place to try and mitigate against climate change and pollution and all the other terrible things that are happening to our beloved Earth are going to happen successfully unless we shift human consciousness from ego to a higher level of consciousness, a more connected level of consciousness, connected both with each other and with the divine. And that mystics of the past have spoken of this evolutionary trajectory for humanity, where we will move into this higher level of being, which I know your audience and your participants and so on are familiar with that hypothesis, if you like, that understanding. And that it could ultimately lead to a unification of consciousness across the planet, where we might be able to speak of a planetary mind. But I have a sort of mapping for that, where I think first we have to have a new uniting story, which I believe is the scientific creation story, injected with some mysticism, where we evolved 13.8 billion years ago from this flaring forth of energy, and we are now the children of stardust, and all of that is beautiful, beautiful, inspiring story. And when you vivify it, if you like, bring it alive with the understanding that there is an evolutionary impulse here that is a divine impulse, the impulse of divine light, moving this or orchestrating this whole drama that is evolution, and understanding that we are this special end product of it at the moment on planet Earth, and where that might yet go, is very uplifting. It gives purpose and meaning to people's lives, and it is my delight to share more of that. and the mystical renaissance that I think is happening on the planet, which is the emergence of this new sense of identity, this new sense of self, which in turn leads to an understanding of what we're meant to be doing, our purpose, our sacred activism, as we call it. And then just the emphasis on how everything we do now really, really matters, really matters. Smile in the street, you know, etc. Yeah, can contribute to this evolutionary process. It's very exciting and very uplifting, and brings purpose, as I say, purpose and meaning back into lives that can be so forlorn and so fearful at the moment around what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that all make sense, darling? Yeah.
It does. Makes
Great
perfect sense.
Yeah, and I love to share the writings and quotations from people I admire who are contributing to this process at the moment, and have in the past and are doing now. Yeah.
So let me tell you a little bit about Gillian. You've had an honours science degree, a PhD in anthropology, and left academic life in the 80s to pursue your mystical work. And you've been putting out meditation and teaching people spiritual principles, meditation CDs since the 90s, really. And you've got a slew of fabulous meditation CDs, both on your website and on Amazon, and some incredible books. Do you want to just talk about the latest book, your latest book?
Well, my latest book, yes, is a sort of introduction to evolutionary mysticism, you might say, and what I've just been talking about. And also it includes a chapter on the awakening of our mystical anatomy, the chakras, etc., etc. This is also part of our evolutionary process. And it's called Consciousness versus Catastrophe, Reflections on the Next Stage of Human Evolution. But truly, Karen, the thing that's brought me the greatest joy in terms of what I've, brought forth for the world, if you like, inspired to do so, have been my meditation and relaxation CDs, produced and recorded through the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. So they're very high quality, and each one contains relaxation practices. Some of them are more focused on meditation. Some of them have yoga exercises, and we have 15 of them. There's one specially for young children. There's one specially for teenagers. There's one specially called armchair yoga, which is specially for armchair meditation for those who are not physically very active for some reason or other. And they've all proved, I've had so much lovely feedback from them. And some of the practices on those CDs, the most popular ones, are now available as downloads on my website for a modest cost. There's also a free one there as well as a free meditation on the third eye practice. So if you're interested at all in what I've been doing, then go to my website and you'll see it all there. But it's been such a joy to get so much feedback on on the simple practice of yoga nidra, deep relaxation, psychic sleep from the yoga tradition, where you rotate your awareness through your body and let go of tension, which we live in so much stress in our modern society. And we have to daily give ourselves the gift, give our bodies the gift of letting go of that nervous system tension. I can't remember if it's the parasympathetic or the sympathetic. One of them's good, one of them's bad. We're in the bad one, but we're in the one that is stimulating anyway, the flight fight mechanism most of the time, which is very unhealthy. We need to give ourselves the practice to just unwind from that regularly on a daily basis, which is what this relaxation practice does. Sleep is supposed to, but very often we're very restless in our sleep, aren't we? And we're dreaming.
Yeah.
It doesn't give us quite the same quality of benefit as a regular yoga nidra. Well, it does, but in a different way. I can't say sleep's not, sleep is wonderful, but people aren't having sleeping problems because they've got so much tension and anxiety in their minds. And so yoga nidra during the day helps you to sleep better.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that, and it's cheap. You just get a practice, and there are masses of them now. There weren't when I started recording in the 90s. Nobody had heard of it, but now they're as popular as, well, they're pretty well known anyway. Yoga nidra practices, are they not, Karen? Really, most people have heard of them.
Well, I think so. There's a lot of people that do yoga, so they understand the name, but most people understand meditation. We've got a few people saying hello to you, Gillian. Angela Anderson is saying greetings from Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA. And Sam saying good afternoon, looking forward to the High Self Expo. Thank you. True yoga nidra is so relaxing. Sam, I'm not sure if Sam, oh yeah, Sam's a woman. Thank you, Gillian, she says.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. how gorgeous is this technology that it links us across the planet. This is what I'm talking about. The internet, for all its downside and its dark side, is an intimation of this planetary consciousness, definitely, if we get it right. It's just so superb. I've gone now into almost total darkness because the sun must have moved around.
I know, we've had such fun.
Disappearing into the void.
I had Lorna Byrne on the show years ago, and she was the same. She was using her window as her light, and she was talking about her connection with angels. It was a sublime conversation, but she completely disappeared. She sort of was swallowed by the darkness. It was so funny. But anyway,
well, there you are.
We can see you. We can see you now. Look, so many people say to me that they have trouble meditating, and yet meditation, the what's the word I'm looking for? The solution for every ill that we experience in our world is so sublimely simple. If only we do it, if only we get in contact with our higher essence, with our inner being, with our true self. And that is contactable through the Yoga Nidra practice, as you say, through just relaxing, just being still.
I would like to make a distinction here, which I make very clearly, between meditation and deep relaxation. They are really, really very different levels of consciousness. I've now gone too much into the light. So
doesn't matter. You look fabulous. It's all good. It's all good.
The Yoga Nidra is a lying down practice where you completely relax your body and you go on to the threshold between waking and sleeping, which is a very powerful threshold to play around with. You move in and out of sleep, and it's hard to, we don't really understand it, but it has a very healing impact on the body. And of course, consciously letting go of tension in your body at the same time. Meditation, for me, I practice mystic meditation, where really verticality is very important. You're sitting with your spine straight, and you feel an alignment with the central channel going down to the earth and up into the heavens above. And you feel held by that. I visualize an axis of light in that way, and then you do whatever your practice is, focusing on the breath or the heart, the chakras, or just on your thoughts and so on. Whatever. There are as many meditation practices as there are physical exercises for the body. Let's face it. You just find one that works for you. But verticality meditation is important, because there you become awake, you become alive in a different way from the way your consciousness is in a yoga nidra or a deep relaxation, and you don't fall asleep. I mean, the one thing, lying on the floor, if you try and meditate lying on the floor, you do invariably go to sleep, you lose consciousness, etc. So it's a wakeful practice. That's the essence of it. But what you were saying, Karen, darling, about the importance of this and how easy it is, I'm reminded of a quote from the mystic Wayne Teasdale, which I love, where he said, "The most precious gift to humankind is mystical experience. And it's the most powerful resource for transforming our attitude, our beliefs, our behavior, our lives."
Absolutely.
And that is what we begin to realize, I hope, in our mystical renaissance. We underestimate the power of that direct encounter with the infinite.
Yes. So many. This has happened with so many people, like Dr. what's his name, the neuroscientist that had the NDE and he went viral. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about, don't you? Alexander. Yeah, him. Yeah. I mean, there's just
Alexander.
Eben Alexander, that's it, thank you.
Yeah.
There's just so many people like him coming out now, people that were complete intellects and scientists and skeptics, and then they have a mystical experience, and now they're like, oh my God exists.
Well,
God is real.
Yes. It's like Carl Jung said in an interview, do you believe in God? He said, I don't believe, I know. But darling, the warning here is, of course, that you have to do your shadow work as well, because you're opening yourself up into a very vulnerable space, and you don't want yucky stuff around, or you will attract the wrong sort of energy. So
which Zane does. Zane was telling me that he does a lot of removing negative entities. He was just telling me that his work is predominantly that at the moment. He put out a video on those platforms. What's that platform where people dance? Anyway, I can't remember the platform. And he just got so many people contacting him saying, I feel like, I've got negative entities attaching to me. So, it seems to be a big thing.
Well, if he does that, then he's amazing, because it's a very specialized skill to be able to take entities from people. Again, you expose yourself to a lot of danger there. But it's lovely to talk about them, because some people think we're balmy, you know, to talk about entities. Fragments of consciousness they are. Not really good about, but they can attach to you if you're fearful, or again, taking drugs exposes you to that danger. Getting alcohol, being around hospitals and sick people, and around dying people, you can pick up entities too. So to have an awareness of that and seek help around it. But there's a more gentle thing around our shadow, is just dealing with our past traumas and tensions and moving them into consciousness, and whatever process works for you, be it dream work or some sort of psychotherapy, you know, that helps you with that. I believe yoga nidra helps with that. I believe it's a therapy in its own right, because you're releasing deep tension over and over.
Anything that raises your vibration is going to help with that, because, you know, you have to be a vibrational match to that frequency in order for it to happen. So if you lift your vibration, you're no longer a match to those, you know, to that frequency. Okay, so we've got a couple of minutes left. Do you want to share with our audience anything you've got going on? Have you got some courses happening? What's happening?
I'm going into retreat at the end of the week, which I really recommend too, if you can get 2 weeks time off work. People are so busy. Again,
you're going into retreat, did you say?
I turn off the Wi-Fi, I turn off my phone, I check my messages last thing at night. I do this regularly for 2 or 3 weeks every year. I used to do it for at least a month, but I don't seem to get the time for a month anymore. But certainly for 2 weeks, where I spend the day, I go on to a very simple diet of simple brown rice and mazio, or you know, I don't fast totally. I don't think that's a good idea for the body, but a very, very simple diet, only 1 meal a day, small one. And I read sacred texts and meditate and do my yoga nidra and just move inwards. Yeah, I've got a lovely property here that I can walk around and enjoy nature too. And I should go barefoot around the grass and just enjoy and not think about, you know, anything. Yeah. Oh, no, that's quite true, because I want to go into grief. I want to feel the grief for the world at the moment, because I think grieving is a wonderful gateway to opening the heart more. And the heart can open infinitely. And I think we have to allow that grief to come in. I think it's a very powerful thing that we've been, again, God works in mysterious ways. We have so much to grieve about at the moment. It could be the way of the divine to open our hearts to what's happening to the animals, to nature, and to our fellow human beings, you know, the refugees, all of that. If you really, and I think David Attenborough's put a new documentary out called Breaking Boundaries or something, which is very powerful. That's watching something like that can bring up the grief. Yeah,
he's got some fabulous documentaries.
Yes.
Now I'm getting feedback.
You've gone quiet. Lost you.
Oh dear, there we go.
There you go, back.
I was getting feedback, so I've unplugged. All right, so have you got any courses that you want to tell anyone about? So obviously you've got your books and your CDs.
You can find things on my website. I'm just having my usual weekend coming up. It's probably not until September. I don't run them here in the wintertime because it just gets a bit chilly, and it's my time for quiet time and working on the land and pruning, because I'm looking after 40 acres here with a bit of help.
And you said to me,
I'm at a stage, darling, where I'm slowing down and focusing on my own consciousness and sending out the right vibrations to the world. And I feel enormously privileged to be that time in life when I'm able to do that.
Yeah, perfect. And you said to me that that you're getting someone to help you plant some food there soon. Yes, Mercury retrograde, Sam says. Thanks, Sam. Dolores, thank you, Karen.
Young people in to help me. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Well, I'm going to come up and visit you one day. That's a promise.
Darling, anytime. That would be super.
So it's been so beautiful. Zane asked me to help him with the Higher Self Expo, and I gave myself the challenge to look for Australian speakers. And because I did, I found you, and I feel so blessed to have found you, because I just think that you're absolutely gorgeous. Makes me want to cry. And you're doing and have done amazing things in this world. So thank you so much for all the work.
Thank you for having me, my darling. Thank you, and I look forward to being with you all in July.
July, and I look forward to your.
I look at my website, and if anyone does want to come and do a little mini retreat here anytime, I have the accommodation for that. So get in touch with me. That would be lovely.
And I'm coming.
We'd have such fun, darling. Yeah.
Big love to you.